While voting rights bills stalled in Congress for months and eventually failed last night, Republican-led states have been jamming through voter suppression laws and redistricting maps that weaken black and brown districts. According to a new report, some Republicans are now pushing their party to accelerate those efforts. Politico reports that in Tennessee, Republicans are already successfully advancing a plan to crack Nashville into 3 districts, dooming Democratic Congressman Jim Cooper. In Florida, DeSantis redrew maps that could give Republicans 18 or more of the state's 28 districts. Democratic governor of Kentucky vetoed a map on Wednesday, calling it a Republican gerrymander, but the GOP has enough votes in the state legislature to override it. But there have been some victories for Democrats, like in Ohio, where the state's redistricting commission will meet Saturday to redraw maps after the state Supreme Court ruled the previous ones were unconstitutional. But this all comes as states like Texas, which already make it incredibly difficult to vote by mail, continue to invent more obstacles. The state's Secretary of State is now claiming a paper shortage is behind the limited number of voter registration forms they've been able to give out. Early voting in that state's primary starts next month. Joining me now to discuss is President of People for the American Way and former President and CEO of the NAACP, Ben Jealous. So, Ben, this is the conundrum here. This raft of voting rights restrictions was not the end. It is the beginning. Republicans see that there is nothing that's going to stop them, so they're going to continue to pass bills and draw maps in this oppressive way. What do you make of what happened yesterday with the failure of these voting rights restrictions, and where do we go from here?
We keep fighting. The reality is we've been in this fight for a decade. We were saying it was the worst wave of voter suppression bills since Jim Crow 10 years ago, when we were fighting the Tea Party during the Obama administration. And so the reality is we have to just kind of step up on the balcony of history and recognize that we're about 25 years from the end of white supremacy as the numeric basis for our democracy, from that ending. And so we should expect that the far right wing will seek to cling to power in this moment by suppressing voters of color any which way they can, and young voters of all colors for that matter too. We ultimately have to keep fighting, just like our ancestors fought all through slavery to the end, because the end of this era of voter suppression will come. Our job, of course, is to make it come faster. So last night was a setback. We keep fighting. Now, on the issue of the gerrymandering, let us not forget that our fight is actually more difficult now, not just because Section 5 has been gutted, but quite frankly, because the Obama administration created a bad record 10 years ago when they pre-approved plans like they did down in Georgia and in multiple other Deep South states. My fellow Marylander Tom Perez was the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights then, and he literally rubber stamped Governor Nathan Deal's proposal that's similar to this one in Missouri, gutted Democratic representation in Georgia, and then he did it again and again throughout the Deep South. And so the reality is, quite frankly, that Democrats have not been vigilant when it comes to defending the rights of voters of color to be fairly represented in their state legislatures. Now this will be our second time, if you will, our second go-round. It's the 2020 census, but it's also what happened after the 2010 census.
I really commiserate with the plight of activists right now. It is in their blood to continue to fight. That is what they do, is to fight oppressive systems and try to make any advance that they can. But what do you make of what seems to be the message coming from the administration, which is that you have no other options. Your only options are to out-organize or out-litigate the oppression, because on the legislative front, we can't really do anything here, at least not in the short term. is that a message that particularly black voters will kind of be amenable to? Like, how many times can people say, you know, you have no choice, you have a hill in front of you, you have no choice but to climb or stay at the bottom, and the hill keeps growing?
You know, again, on the one hand, we have to, I think, take heart that what history shows us is that if we keep fighting, we will win, so long as we're willing to fight until the end. At the same time, we have to fight smarter and more aggressively now. And what we need out of the U.S. Department of Justice right now is for them to be aggressively using Section 2 to attack these redistricting proposals, to seek the smoking guns and the evidence to show the intent. It's pretty clear that there's intent here, but they're going to have a higher bar because, quite frankly, these bills have not passed. Section 5 has not been restored. And at the same time, they actually have to be more vigilant than their Democratic colleagues were 10 years ago. And we just need to be honest about that. Again, I helped to elect and to re-elect President Obama, big supporter of his administration. But when it came to redistricting, they made some very bad decisions. And quite frankly, that makes our battle harder now. And we got to be frank about that so we don't repeat that history, which wasn't very long ago.
How worried are you that the House and or the Senate may change hands over into Republican control in the midterms, which would make it basically impossible to get any kind of legislation through on voting rights?
Very concerned. If you look here in Maryland, which is not on most folks' radar screens, it does appear that Governor Hogan will be running for Senate. If you look at the polls, there's every reason to believe he would win by a significant margin versus our sitting Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen. And anybody who wants to stop that needs to be needs to be organizing right now because it's going to be a very steep hill. That is not really on any map right now. It would be devastating to the Democrats. At the same time, there's real opportunity for us to pick up seats elsewhere. And so we've just got to be fighting and pushing out now. Now, there is sort of a silver lining, if you will, to the comparisons to 10 years ago. You might recall that in early 2012, people thought, quite frankly, that President Obama would lose. People thought that black voters would not turn out. That year, we set records for black voter turnout. The NAACP ran one of its largest voter registration efforts ever. We put 1 million new voters in play. And of course, President Obama was re-elected. And you couldn't explain his victory, frankly, without factoring in the fact that there had been a wave of voter suppression attacks, which had made people's vote more important to them and inspired people to turn out in record numbers. So it can be that these voting rights attacks do backfire, and we need to make sure that they do this time.
Yeah, I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, my toes are crossed, my legs are crossed, that black people will turn out in spite of what is happening, but I am also furious that it is happening. Ben Jealous, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Really appreciate your time.